The original Church of Reform. The original Church of Reform is a political action committee, same as it was from the beginning. The church will be registering as a non-connected political action committee and lobbying group with the FEC of the United States of America. The main objective is reform. Reform of the current monetary system, reform of the current taxation system, reform of the current immigration system. The original Church of Reform can be traced back tens of thousands of years. Actually, the age is more than 35,000 years, approximately 70,000 plus years. Confirmation of its age was discovered in a book by Colonel James Churchward entitled The Lost Continent of Mu. The confirmation is on page 105 and is named The Cosmogonic Diagram, with the claim of being the first book ever written. Actually, Colonel Churchward got this detail wrong as what the diagram is. The diagram is a cipher of the original Church of Reform. Colonel Churchward's work is quite extensive and an excellent read. However, his religious views obscured his thoughts, and that is clear in reading his works. That does not change the fact that the cipher fit perfectly with the ancient pictograph language that has been re-engineered and reconstructed for the original Church of Reform. The original Church of Reform set up colonies around the world and maintained trade with them until the land of Mu ended. Colonel Churchward believed the ways and means of the people was honorable, and with its demise so did their ideals. We can see the remnants of the original ideal became extremely despotic, as ancient writings such as the Bible indicate. All the major religions of the world originated out of the original Church of Reform. Whether you are Muslim, Hebrew, Christian, Buddhist, or Hindu, then your religion came out of the original Church of Reform. The original Church of Reform's ancient system has been and is being used by every major religion and government of the world. The United States of America is the place to correct the errors and complete the ideals that have also been left in the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and get back to the original mission of the original Church of Reform and reform government. There is much to do in America, and we must lead the world by example, instead of trying to make examples of others. The greatest single leap forward will be to reform the current monetary system. This reform is so simple to accomplish that it is a shame the Congress for the last 100 years did not act. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 created the Federal Reserve banking system, which is actually a national and international banking system. What simply has to be done is to amend the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 and create a new national currency that cannot be used outside of the United States. The Federal Reserve notes would then be demoted from its status of being the currency the United States government uses to pay all its expenses. The new national currency would be named Federal Tax Credits. The federal tax credits would be held in federal credit unions instead of Federal Reserve banks. The federal tax credits would be issued originally by the United States Treasury and secondarily issued by the Internal Revenue Service via tax credits. A filing system for credits would be expanded to meet the needs of the public, according to the Declaration of Independence. Personal income taxes would be exempt up to a certain level. The level of personal income tax exemption would equal the salary of the President of the United States. The current economy of the United States is that of a debtor with the ability to pay its debts through taxation. This is wrong. The Constitution of the United States allows for a national currency to be created from letters of credit and its value regulated. These are the things that have been used to create the Federal Reserve notes. The major difference is the Federal Reserve notes are essentially borrowed monies. There is no need to borrow money. There is no need to sell securities. It is insanity that the Congress of the last 100 years has not even tried to fix their mess. And it is their mess. In the end of the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, the Congress had reserved the right to change or repeal the act at any time. And the answer was staring them all in the face when they took oath of office to follow the Constitution of the United States. As a citizen of this country, am I to believe with all the education and training, including Ivy League colleges and universities, that nobody knows this simple solution? Problem is, they all seek counsel from so-called experts that have their own personal agenda instead of the nation's best interest at heart and its people. So do you have the nation's best interest at heart and its people? Support the original Church of Reform and help make our nation a better place, so the people of the world will have our posterity to look up to.